Meet Mike Wilson in Wales and me, Harmony Gates, in California in Mondays with Mike. Drop in on our wise, warm, spontaneous discussions where we explore the deep stuff of life, revealing the wisdom, insight, and truth that lives in us. Discover resources for living and sharing your fullest aliveness and for enhancing your capacity for safe, comfortable, emotionally connected relating. This is the second half of episode 5. We continue here, starting with the subject of the importance of a first follower when we're stepping into leadership. And then Mike talks about his shoulder pain that keeps him from sleeping. And we do a deep inquiry to source his deeper intelligence and find the wisdom that's in there to help him understand maybe where this pain comes from and how to resolve it. And then at the very end, we do some negotiating to see what our agreements are before our next meeting. Let's go.
Learning how we work and what works for us is, for me, I'm glad this is recording because I realize that is a really important piece for me. What is...
Are you? Oh, yeah, you are recording. Yeah.
Yeah, I record us. That's how I get so I can transcribe it.
The transcript, yeah.
Because I want, well, let me just stop there because that's said now. And it brings me to something I'd like to share, just whether we go into it at all today or not. But this insight that I had this morning was, let's see if I can do it in a sentence or two. I have perception that cues me, informs me when in a group, or even maybe with 2 people, but let's say a group, when there's readiness for leadership, but leadership isn't happening. So there's like, here we are at the crux of, something, and someone needs to start it, like it needs that. And I believe I can sense that it's in certain settings. And what I require in order to step into that leadership role in that moment is knowing that I have a first follower.
Can you know that before you step in?
Well, let me give you an example because I think it is possible. And I think knowing that helps me more frequently, successfully take the risk and move into even a moment of leadership. What I read in my journal was I had joined into a party of unknown people. This was in a not completely unfamiliar environment, new people, new event. Here I am, a stranger. I made some connections with people just socially. And then this was a group that met regularly to do a circle of making music together. It isn't even really my thing. And as we sat in the circle, there was this pause and pause and pause. And I was like, I said to the guy next to me, someone needs to lead. It was obvious that just someone needed to start the spark, you know? And he turned to me and he said, it's you.
You say a job, it's your job.
And my first thought was me. I'm the stranger. I have no idea what goes on here. Why is it me? But I somehow took the challenge and thought, well, okay, let me tentatively start. And I started to make a little beat on the drum, which isn't even my thing at all. And it was kind of tentative, but then he joined right away and supported. And then there were two of us. Then there was an us, and that created, the whole circle started from that. Everyone sort of jumped in and, began to create this group activity, if you will, that was very much not really led by someone, but somebody needed to blow the first spark. And yeah. And that was,
you to do that.
yeah,
You needed to trust that that guy would go with
I
you.
need to know he's going to throw a little fuel on the spark.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it just, my whole awareness fed me all these examples of when that has happened and when it hasn't, like when I've tried to push myself into leading without having a second right there with me, and how it's hard. I just, can't.
Makes that first step terrifying.
Exactly. It's just way too terrifying.
Too
much.
It's in the no way zone, what Mickey would
Yeah.
call the no way zone.
Yeah, no way. And I just collapse and just give up, no.
So trying to force yourself to do that would not be useful.
No.
It's beyond capacity.
Nope. And see, not knowing that's what I need, the true real need, I just kind of wander in that zone of, why can't I get started?
And because of all those messages that we've received from the culture, from the family, from teachers, from other kids at school, as soon as we see something we can't do that's beyond our capacity, if we're not careful, we're going to start beating ourselves up for it. Like, you
What's
should
wrong
be
with
able to do
me?
that. What's
Why
wrong
can't
with
I
you?
do it? Yeah. Instead of realizing like, oh, I need support. That's a piece of support, right? And of course, my teacher, my culture teaches me, you don't need support, just do it.
Yeah, we are a nation of rugged individuals. We don't need help from anybody.
And if we think we do, there's something wrong with us already.
Yeah, we can wrestle a bear single-handed.
It's a no-win, right? So, yeah. So that was a detour, kind of, to explain answer your question about whatever it was. I'll get it in the recording. It was something about, how can you know you have a second? Can we have a first, a first follower? Or
so there will be situations where you don't know, and those are situations, okay, it's
right.
I'm not going to step up then.
Right. And there's ways to get a first follow before, right? To actually put that in place. Right?
If I step up there, would you support me? Yeah.
You follow, like, hello. So just that is like, oh, here's a whole new strategy for success, I guess, might
There's a
be.
TED talk about. There's a TED talk about. I can't remember exactly the words she used, but it's about. It's going from being from an inspiration to a movement. You get
Oh,
one follower when you've got a follower, two followers, you got a movement.
wow. I think that has informed me. The guy, well, I don't know if it's the TED talk, but maybe 5 or 6 years ago at least, I saw he's kind of a personality now, and somehow I was subscribed, and he showed this in a dance setting, which I totally understand. This
Mm,
that concept where there's a like a concert, but everybody's sitting on the grass listening, group of hippies outside. And one guy gets up and starts dancing. And he narrates it, and he says, so right now at this point, he could be looked at as the crazy person who just got up, and nobody wants to be associated with that crazy person, right? But then a person gets up, a first follower, and dances. And an important piece is he doesn't ignore that follower. He uh, embraces and dances with. He kind of like says, yes, let's dance together. We're both in this, right?
mm,
And then that first follower creates a new dynamic. And then a third person comes and a fourth person comes. And then it becomes at a certain point, it's cooler to be dancing than to be sitting judging the dancers. And it's a movement, from no dancing to everyone dancing as,
mm,
yeah. And
mm.
mm,
Excuse me, my eyes are tired. Excuse me.
that's all right.
Mm,
Please take care of yourself.
yeah.
Please take care of yourself.
Mm.
So that'd be interesting. I don't know if that's the guy that did the TED talk. Maybe that's
Oh, it's a woman that did the TED talk.
okay. So it's different, but the same principle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to look for that video again because it's probably 2 years since I looked at it, and a lot's happened since then.
Yeah.
There's a lot of time spent with Mickey.
Yeah. You're a different person now.
Yeah, I just worked out this morning that I can afford to sign up for this
Next year.
year's, yeah,
Okay.
the next session. So I'll, if I do it, but I think it's the 15th or the 16th. There's that discount,
All right. Maybe I
the
will.
early bird
If
discount.
you're coming, I went to one and it was about Roni and it was deep and I missed part of it. And there was a big after party. And part of my debate around it is as I let me take a breath here. As I gain clarity about these things that you and I are working on here,
Mm,
I want to have time in my day to actually put them into action. And it seemed like most of my time I've committed is about experiencing and being in opportunities where my growth is happening, my growth is happening, my growth is happening. And I was wondering, like, well, so when do I take that growth and start leading with it, right?
actually using it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's on my plate in terms of making a decision, maybe about Mickey.
So do you think maybe you won't do it this year?
I'm not sure. I think I would like to get real clarity about kind of weighing how much it's serving me,
Mm.
and how much it's kind of more of a distraction or just sort of a
How many years have
fascination.
you been to it?
Just one. I've only done one. Ah, so yeah, I'll have to think that, because that is definitely a focus on leadership. And I'm just discovering how I can step into leadership, that I need a first follower. So maybe I'm actually can now take advantage of as much as she's talking about leadership, you know, since I might be able to be spending more time leading in that
Hmm.
sense.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh, it's all right. Please don't apologize.
Oh.
I'm not taking it personally.
Mm.
And it adds punctuated pauses that are good for me.
Good. I had last night the best night's sleep I've had for quite a while,
Oh,
which was
oh,
good. And I
yay.
could do with a few more like that.
Ah, yes. Well, maybe, I'm just gonna color the universe with your brain gets it now, knows how to do a full night's sleep and had an experience. So the next one will be easier. And the next one after that will be easier.
It's my shoulder that wakes me up,
Yeah. So your
because
shoulder,
generally, without the tendonitis in my shoulder, I'm normally very good at sleeping. I go to bed at a regular time and fall asleep very quickly, in a few minutes,
mm, mm,
and then wake up naturally the following morning after 7.5 hours of sleep.
mm.
So it's normally one of my superpowers, but it's the shoulders made it very difficult, because I'm frequently waking up in pain at sort of 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
and
My
then
mind is,
dozing but not really sleeping.
my mind's over here wondering if as as tiring as that pattern that your shoulder is creating in terms of waking up and waking up and waking up, especially now that you're getting some sleep, what's the gift that your shoulder is giving you?
Hmm. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Hard to
tried
find.
I've tried asking for inspiration about, because if there's inflammation in my shoulder, is
Mm,
there anything that I'm doing that's causing the inflammation?
mm,
I'd heard, I don't know if this is true, whether it's a properly documented and tested medical advice, or just one of those things on the internet that circulates, but I'd heard that sugar in particular and carbohydrates in general are inflammatory. And I went more than 3 months without any sugar in the summer,
yeah.
and it didn't get better.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking there may be something more along the lines of, so life isn't always easy.
Mm.
And so how do we manage when there's persistent, consistent challenge? And how do we care for ourselves when that's the case? And also possibly, if it's not sugar, this is the other track my mind made. And I don't know, because I have deep learning about how I hold my body in space, that my posture is deeply connected with my sense of empowerment. I don't know if we've done this a little before, but when I'm curled up, like forward, that reflects, it's almost like a loop that's, oh, I'm weak and I'm a victim. And then my body becomes
Mm.
weak, victimy. And then that posture tells my brain I'm weak and I'm a victim, and then I feel it even more, and it creates its own momentum. And when I have the capacity to notice that and to choose to either through my posture find the stronger, I'm here, I'm, sitting within the gravitational field, both reaching down through my butt or my feet and also reaching up through my head. And that shifts what's going on in my mood.
I just remember something that happened last night, which may have contributed to a better night's sleep.
Ah, good.
Because I had got to the point where I thought I had a conversation with a friend who's done some alternative medicine training. And during that conversation, I said, I suppose I could sort of ask my body if it would inform me if there's something that I'm doing or something I'm eating or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was laying in bed ready to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And just holding that question about is there, maybe I'll dream about it, is there something that I'm not learning, something I'm not hearing about that's causing this inflammation? And I remembered a few years ago now, I went, and the trouble is it's a very long way away, and I've moved even further since then, but there's a practitioner of the Bowen technique in a town. Have you heard of the Bowen technique?
I have heard, I'm not sure which, yeah, tell me though. Yeah.
It's probably a 2 hours drive from here, and they wouldn't be able to do it during lockdown anyway. But
right.
When I had the treatment with her, it was strange, because it was when she sort of pushed or touched very gently, but in particular places on my body.
Yeah.
It was like thoughts came to mind. And at one point I thought, I said to her, I just realized that I'm thinking that if I don't hold my shoulder tight, my arm will fall off.
Wow.
Which is bloody ridiculous.
Well, it's ridiculous here. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it
was like some part, and I thought, I could just, and I remember that last night laying in bed, and I thought, I could just release that, and then trust that my arm won't drop off in the night.
Oh, wow.
I don't have to hold it on, it's fixed in place. So I'll try and remember that again this evening when I'm settling down to sleep tonight.
Write that one down.
I don't think I need to write that one down.
Put it by your bedside, because you might forget. And because it sounds like not only did you get the answer, but you also let it drop from your intellectualness into like, oh, right. Imagine trusting. Can I trust my arm's not going to fall off, or let it fall off, or whatever that letting go is?
Can I trust my body to hold that together?
Yeah.
So it might be that I'm putting strain on this tendon by just being holding all the time when I don't
holding
need to
your arm into place, and you're just constantly doing that, and your brain is going, yeah, we got to do that, or else the arm's going to fall off, and it's become such a pattern and so habitual. You really are, not even right before bed, but even as you sit in your chair, maybe a couple times a day, ask yourself,
retraining,
is there a way that I can let my arm and shoulder,
I'm doing it now, and just think, I just release it now and just trust that my body won't fall apart if I don't hang on. It could have been a response that throughout my life I've had all sorts of sickness and frailties. And grew up around it as well. My father was disabled by polio.
Right.
This was a long time ago, like 30 years ago, I did some Alexander technique.
Yeah, exactly. So now
and they do that where you learn, they teach you to get out of a chair. And I would always, getting out of a chair, push myself up with my arms. And when he said, don't, just put your arms use your legs. And I realized in the moment I tried to lift myself from the chair with my legs,
Right.
I realized I'd learned from my father that my legs wouldn't be strong enough.
That's it. You
And
model
of course
that.
they were.
Yeah. But you just,
Yeah.
you
So I'd learned that thing about powerless
know,
legs.
arms, it
And of
takes
course my legs
arms.
were easily powerful enough. It was just that I just internalized this lesson.
Yeah. And you never really experimented to find out a difference, because why
Mm.
would you? Because there wasn't even any question about, you know,
Yeah, legs aren't
needing,
strong enough to hold
why
you
should
up.
I try to do something different than what already works, right? It already works with the arms, right? It works every time. So why would I want to see if it does work without the arms, right?
Yeah, look, yeah, and look, my arms haven't fallen off, so hanging on to them is working.
Exactly, exactly. And yet, you know, over time, these
Mm.
non-aligned ways of moving take, you know, the body finally kind of says, please.
So there's a mission there to retrain my mind to trust my body not to fall apart.
Yeah, yeah. You almost have to inhibit, you know, the habitual and just go, what if
Mm.
I don't do that right now? Is that possible? Huh. And let your body will know how to train itself. But
Mm.
mind has to let go of the tight, like, pattern belief, you know.
It's noticing the pattern
Yeah,
and
yeah,
choosing
yeah,
to act differently.
yeah. Because based on your
Mm.
experience, you didn't have to go, oh, wait, how do I relax my shoulder? All right, this bone, this tendon, this, you know, you didn't have to figure it. You just really had to allow the possibility of it. And then your body went, oh, yes,
Mm.
you know, let us find the way. And you are then witnessing your body let go.
And interestingly, it's not difficult and it's not frightening. It's not like when I say, don't be ridiculous, your body won't fall apart if you let go. I'm not arguing with myself. I'm not saying, whoa, just a minute, whoa, you sure
Oh
about that?
no, I'm gonna
I'm
die.
just, just
No,
find, no, I'm not, it's okay. It's not going to go horribly wrong. It's okay to just relax and let go.
right.
It's like, it's a
Yeah,
pattern that
yeah.
if it ever served me, it's not serving me any longer.
There it is. Exactly.
Mm.
And it did serve you, or it wouldn't have started. There's some reason that
Yeah.
it served you. And that's what's interesting is when, if you're in the trauma moment, re-experiencing that again and again, you don't actually have access to this other place that says, wait a minute, I happen to know that shoulders just don't fall off by themselves. You know, like there is some part of me that can rest in that, uh, or even if it can't, it's willing to consider the possibility that other options are available.
Mm. It might be that there's something to follow backwards as well, because it just came to mind while you were speaking then that if it ever served me,
Yeah.
then it might be that I was adapting because I used to have terrible backaches.
Ah, yeah.
And I haven't actually suffered backache for a long time.
Uh-huh.
Somebody, many years ago, again, probably more than 30 years ago, a psychotherapist I was seeing said, just try every treatment that you can find until you find the one that works for your back, because every back is different. And eventually found a McTimoney chiropractor. And she did a mixture. She did remedial massage and McTimoney chiropractic, and that was what sorted my back out. And that was probably in the late 80s or early 90s. It was a long time ago.
Yeah. Right.
So I have not had serious back. I get the occasional backache if I sit in the same chair in the same position for hours on end.
Yeah.
but not the same terrible back issues I used to get.
Right.
So it might be that I was trying to adapt so that my back didn't hurt.
Yeah.
And
And your shoulders
I
stayed
don't,
in the program, you know, your shoulders didn't get the
yeah,
message like, wait, you're part of this. You
didn't
can,
get
your back
yeah
knows
get
how to
the
hold you
memo
up.
saying the back's fixed.
Nice
There
job,
we are.
shoulder. Thank you so much for trying to take care of my
Mm,
back. You've done a great job. And now you can
great
take a
work.
break.
Don't need that
Here's your
anymore.
certificate of completion. We no longer, you know.
Mm. It's like, yeah, it's like so many. I hadn't thought of that in the physical terms, but there's many of the sort of the emotional
Yeah,
behavioral pattern that
yeah,
we have got from our childhood that
yeah.
are actually no longer working for us, but we haven't noticed we don't need them anymore.
Right.
I had
And
never thought of that in physical terms before.
yeah, yeah. And you know, as I just demonstrated, part of it is thanking it for the
Mm,
service it provided. So it feels seen and known and, you know, oh, okay. And then like uh, releasing it. We got it. We did it. We're done. Thank you. You know,
as a,
now
as a
you
course
can,
I did about 3 years ago, and we were talking about the inner critic, that critical voice we have that I think everybody has.
in this
And
culture,
the tutor there was saying about how that that was there for our survival. We don't actually need it anymore,
right?
but there was a time
It served
when we needed it. We depended on it to survive. And he said, you can't argue with it. You can't, because it's the voice of authority. It's the internalized voice of parents, teachers, what have you. And it's, you can't argue with it. You can't overcome it. What you can do is befriend it and find it a new job.
there you go. The new job.
Mm,
So it's thank you. Oh, wow, you've worked hard all this time.
mm,
And rather than like trying to deny you, I can have compassion for that hard job that you were trying so hard to succeed at. Wow, you were really trying to take care of me. And you did a great job of it. Woo, right? Oh, wow, that's a lot of years of holding on to certain muscles to make sure that my back doesn't
mm.
hurt or that I stay safe. Ah, and
So I
now,
think a great time for me, because I don't go to sleep the instant, I don't even try to go to sleep the instant I go to bed, because I quite enjoy just laying there and just enjoying
yeah,
what my body feels like.
there you go.
So that's a really good time to practice that, is as I'm going to sleep.
Yeah,
I have some, I've got an Amazon Echo
ah,
gizmo.
talk to it and tell it.
So it plays some soft
There you,
ambient music for an
yeah,
hour.
and just befriend and
And I just,
oh, see if it can allow it. See if you can allow. See if it can allow you to release it from that task.
mm.
And
Yeah, well, look, we've gone, we're past an hour,
I know
and I'm
you're
kind of
clocked
full.
in. Okay, that's
I'm
good.
kind of full because that's the really, really useful information that I need time to absorb.
Perfect.
And it might be there's more, but it's not the time for more for me now.
So we'll set that aside.
Not
That's
quite sure how we got to that, but I'm really glad we did. That was valuable. Thank you.
you're welcome. That was for me asking you what the gifts. We started with that, just to let you know.
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah, it was an interesting thread, wasn't it? We went from there through the Bowen technique to
yeah, and we just let
the
it.
body not falling apart.
We gave it a direction. This is like what we're talking about, though. If we can name what the goal is or what the inquiry is,
Mm.
then we can sort of sit back and uh, listen.
So there's definitely value in following a random thread, as well as beginning with a mission and a purpose. So
Yeah,
perhaps we should include that in our agreements, that sometimes we meet and we just follow a random thread and see where it leads
yeah,
us.
yeah. Pick a direction and
Sometimes
then
we have a
yeah, And that'll be in the
Sometimes structure,
recording.
sometimes not.
That'll be in the
Oh yeah, I
recording.
don't need to write
I
that down,
think
do
it's
I?
also a bit in the way we say we work, but we can review that.
Yeah,
I will commit to distilling down some of what we've said here.
thank you.
Perhaps, if you're, so let me think about this, how much work I want to put into
Hmm.
that. I am able to, if you're interested, send you a link so you could listen to this recording or watch it again. And I think that might be useful for you in terms of this whole shoulder piece, but maybe you don't need that. But if you want it, it's there. And that would be a part I would just give you without editing. And then I can, I have the capacity and willingness to sort of try to pull out the pieces that are about our meeting and how we want to structure our meeting, or that piece that we started with.
So I'll commit to doing an outline of what we might do to agree our values, purpose, mission, vision, and so on.
Okay, like what
And I'll
steps
wait
you
until
want
I've
to do?
seen.
Yeah,
I'll wait until I've seen your transcript before I do that.
okay.
And I very much doubt that I would be motivated to watch the recording.
Or listen,
I,
because it can come just as audio if you want.
I
Just
would much more likely to find the words useful, the
written.
transcript
Okay. Well,
written.
that's the other thing
Yeah,
you can do is I can actually throw the whole thing in a transcript, only edit out the parts that I'm agreeing to do, and ship the whole transcript to you so that you
that'd
can
be
read
great,
it.
because then I can just scan forward to the bit that
Yeah,
I'm. But I mean, the thing we've talked about, the shoulder, I think that's all,
I think
that's in my memory.
it's probably all there, and just wanted to give you the
Mm,
option. So I'll send you, since I'm going to make the transcript, I'll send it anyway, and then you can decide if you have any
great.
use for it, because it's not extra work for you.
If I get into bed tonight and I go, what was I going to do again?
Yeah, yeah,
Then I'll watch the video. But
there you
I'm
go.
pretty
Yeah,
sure I'm going to remember.
yeah,
When
yeah,
I get those aha moments, I normally remember those.
yeah. They're deep, and then it's just kind of recalling the
Yeah.
moment and letting it come back in again. Set your mind to what was the aha, and then relaxing
Mm.
and allowing,
And
and
it
here it comes.
connects really nicely with other so if it's out on its own, then that's when I might need a good reminder. But when it connects up with other thoughts and experiences,
Yeah,
I
your
think it'll
memories of
be
falling,
remember.
memories of your father, all those pieces are
Yeah,
in
the
this.
memories of the bowing technique and
Owen, all
the inner critic.
your intelligence just brought you all
Yeah.
this on this.
Mm. It's sort of, it's made of the stuff I already had. It's
Yeah, yeah.
mm. Are we complete for today? Are you complete?
Yeah, I want to take at least 1 minute of just sitting with you
Mm.
and sitting with me, and maybe a little longer.
Yeah, shall I ring the bell,
That would
the
be,
bowl,
that can't hurt. Yeah,
and then after about 2 minutes I'll ring it again.
that sounds
How's
perfect.
that?
That sounds perfect.
Do you hear that okay?
I did.
Good. Mm. Mm.
Ah, perfect.
Just enjoy. I'm just noticing consciously for the first time and enjoying. You're surrounded almost exclusively by warm colours. You've got the shawl that's sort of apricot orangey colour, and there's all those beautiful warm colour lights behind you, and the towel, the hammock, the moth.
Everything but the blue couch, which I found on
Yeah,
the
the blue
sidewalk.
couch. But apart from the blue couch, you've got warm colours.
That's the couch. It's too cold and it's too blue, but it's somewhat comfortable. Yeah,
Mm.
physically. Mm, mm.
This
So,
has been lovely
yes,
and valuable.
thank you. I
Some
I have found it,
useful.
all of that as well. And,
Good.
I'm feeling deep appreciation.
Mm. So there's even your hair matches the warm colours.
I know, not my
Excellent.
shirt. It's black and white. I found that too. Ah, definitely.
So same time next week,
Yep,
6 p.m. my time.
yep.
Lovely.
All right. Sleep
See
well.
you then, and
Okay.
see you before as well.
Yep.
Have a lovely day.
All right. You too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for spending this time with us. If you liked this podcast, please click the like button and subscribe to the channel to stay with us. And tell us what you thought of this episode. We love to read your thoughts in the comments section.